Babysitter, a Steve Harrington perk that gives any survivor you unhook an additional 7% haste, plus no scratch marks or pools of blood. Weirdly enough, this perk allows you to see the killer's aura. The concept of the perk is pretty simple. Safely unhook your teammate and prevent them from getting tunneled. But there is one fatal flaw with Babysitter. You don't need this perk to do any of that. If I want my teammate to escape off hook and get away from the killer, I'm gonna do that. Perk or no perk. I'll body block, I'll take a hit, I'll do whatever it takes to allow my teammates to build some distance from the killer. Which also makes me wonder, why do I need to see the killer's aura? When I'm unhooking somebody, the killer is either nearby or they're not. That's all that matters. Not to mention, there are so many anti-tunneling perks that are way stronger than this one. I would much rather run perks like Off the Record or Decisive Strike if I didn't want to be tunneled. But I'm being a bit selfish. This perk isn't about me, it's about saving your teammates. And with a name like Babysitter, this perk applies that you're going to be looking out for your teammates, but it's just a mess of a perk. Instead of Babysitter, this perk should be called Da Baby. Man, that guy is really falling off. Yeah. I've vented my frustrations already, but I still have to put Babysitter through our trademark 1 to 19 star rating system. I have a lot of negative opinions on babysitters, mainly stemming from the time when I was 6 and the babysitter locked me in my room and had a party at my parents' house. That moment was traumatic, and my parents are still pissed about it to this day. But the disappointment my parents felt probably pales in comparison to the disappointment I felt using this perk. It took me a while to understand what role I was meant to be playing when using this perk. I started off playing more of a support healer role and was confused on what benefit this perk provided. It probably wasn't until game number 5 where I finally made the connection. Babysitter. Duh. This is a protect your team from tunneling perk. And despite its lackluster ability, there are some interesting perk combinations you can run with it. I think the simplest perk combination is Babysitter and Borrowed Time. Extending the person you unhook's endurance will definitely give them a better chance of escaping. Also, they get some added haste, which I do believe stacks with the haste that you get from Babysitter. Overall, a solid pairing to keep your teammates from being tunneled. Pairing Babysitter with Dead Hard is also strong because the goal is to take the attention of the killer, regardless. Now you also protect yourself while buying even more time for your teammate to escape. There is definitely some synergy between Babysitter and Medal of Man, but I don't think either perk is particularly strong, so now you're just pairing up two very niche perks. I just don't think you're putting yourself in a good place to succeed doing that. Finally, you can pair Babysitter up with Will Make It to get some quick heals off after unhooking a survivor. This also makes a lot of sense because you'll be able to see the killer's aura, so you can run to a safe location to heal up. Gun to my head, if you made me pick a Babysitter build, I would go with Babysitter, Borrowed Time, Dead Hard, and Will Make It. I still wouldn't recommend running this build though. I think all of those perks would actually be better off without Babysitter. The situation that needs to happen to get value from Babysitter is extremely rare. Let me set the stage. Your teammate has just been hooked for a second time early in the match and you're worried about them getting tunneled out of the game. You go and unhook your teammate and see the aura of the killer who is hiding just around the corner. You run and cut off the killer and take a hit. The killer still ignores you and goes to chase down your teammate but can't find them because there are no scratch marks or blood trails. That is the situation where Babysitter is the most valuable, and that situation happened all of 0 times in the games I played. I've had plenty successful unhooks while preventing tunneling without this perk, and that's the reality. It's just unnecessary. You do not need Babysitter. Just how I didn't need a babysitter to lock me in my room 23 years ago. Honestly, you'd be better off just finding some teammates that will look out for you, which is why you need to join me at twitch.tv/SouthLoopStraz, where we do open lobbies every other week with chat. You can also watch the perk reviews live and chirp me when I'm playing like shit. Yeah. Back to Babysitter, I would be hard pressed to find a perk more useless than this one. I'm not lying when I say I will never use this perk again. It's gonna get a 3 out of 19 stars from me, which is pretty terrible. And I think we'll agree on that, but you might not agree on my perk review of the brand new Alan Wake perk, Boon Illumination. You can watch that video right here.